How's it? Dr. Rudy here. Today I'm going to talk to you about skin cancer. They're those horrible little clumps of mutant cells you get in your face when you're exposed to too much sun. Did you know that if you immigrated to this country after the age of 15, that you are 5 times less likely to get skin cancer? You see, the sun does most of its damage to native-born Australians when they are children with delicate skin. So this is great news for all us adult immigrants. Whilst those dinky-die Aussies end up looking like pale and pasty vampires, we immigrants can get a fabulous tan. As a medical doctor, I really do encourage all immigrants to this country to get as much sun as possible. Do not slip on a shirt, do not slap on some sunscreen, and do not slap on a hat. Because it's a biological fact that people become more attracted to the opposite sex when they have a tan, which means that sunbathing will give us immigrants an evolutionary edge. Quite simply, a person with a tan will get more sex. We all subconsciously equate glowing good health with fertility, and despite what our conscious mind tells us, we all enjoy going through the motions of trying to get each other pregnant. So to sum up, sunbathing. If you're a native-born Australian, don't do it or you'll die of cancer. If you're an immigrant, get a tan. You'll get more sex. Bye now. How's it? Dr. Rudy here. Men, why is it so often that we leave the urinal with feelings of inadequacy and frustration, when it really should be a meaningful experience of masculine bonding? Often this is caused by failing to follow some simple urinal techniques. So tonight, I'll show you how to make your next pit stop an ego-boosting pleasure pee. Let's start with the stance. I recommend this one. It's known as the Anzac Swagger. It tells fellow urinators that you are comfortable and happy in your purging environment. Just allow the hips to swing gently back and forth through the process of expulsion and groan a little upon completion. The lean-to is a position which allows you to spit repeatedly into the trough and maybe even vomit a little if you need to. The more fluid which leaves your body, the higher your status amongst your fellow men. Remember, never allow your hands to touch your penis at any stage, for this will reveal you as a homosexual who is soliciting for sexual favors, and that's not what urinals are about at all. Facial expressions and conversation topics are also important to get the most out of your urinal experience. Although it is important to keep your eyes to the front, it can sometimes be polite to turn your head and raise an impressed eyebrow at the intensity of another man's urine flow. Always accompany these appreciative glances with comments such as, "By golly, you've had a few," or "making room for more lager, mate." These comments can break the ice and often lead to enduring friendships and can help prevent what is commonly known as stage fright. So men, if you apply these simple techniques, you too can step outside that cubicle of shame and proudly claim your rightful place at the urinal. Bye now. How's it? Dr. Rudy here. Thanks to some breakthrough research by Australian scientists, we now have a very simple technique that dramatically reduces the incidence of sudden infant death syndrome. You just put your baby to sleep on his or her back, never on the tummy. But even the best of us can occasionally forget that vital little bit of information. So here's a tip that will make sure your baby is never in danger. Simply get some chili sauce and rub it all over the sheet, right where you put the baby's head. Now, when you put the baby to sleep on its tummy, the chili sauce will get in its eyes and it'll wake up screaming its head off. A convenient reminder for you to come in, flip over the baby and breathe a sigh of relief. Bye now. Hello there, Dr. Rudy here. You probably don't know it, but investment portfolio diversification is a goal that all average Australians should aim for. Alongside your Telstra shares and your home mortgage, you might find that you could turn your hobby into an enjoyable earner. You know, a hobby is a great way to release stress in a hectic lifestyle, or fill in time in a lethargic one. A hobby can satisfy creative urges, introduce you to new friends with similar interests, and if you're a collector like me, it can be quite exciting. So what do I collect? Spoons. Yes, for me, nothing matches my feeling of exhilaration when I'm on the hunt for that certain spoon. I know for some people, celebrity paraphernalia is all the rage. A Jimi Hendrix guitar or the shirt off an athlete's back. But I tell you, it's spoon collecting for me. And here they are. Spoons collected from some of the world's most rich and famous. This one here is an early Brett Whiteley. Crude, but a good indication of where his inspiration was taking him. And this one over here is a Kurt Cobain. As it turned out, a limited edition and worth quite a bit of money. And this one here is now almost impossible to get. A rare one from Nick Cave. Every time I look at it, I remember how good his music used to be. So, if you want to get some relaxation into your lifestyle and some realty into your estate, it's a great investment habit to get into. Bye now. How's it? Dr. Rudy here. It's a problem that confronts mums and dads every day. How do I know if my teenage son is gay? The teenage years are very confusing for boys as they discover their awakening sexuality, even when they're asleep. But as a parent, how do you know that your teenage son has a pillow that holds his dental records? Or whether he has deeply suppressed homosexual tendencies that haven't been drawn out yet because of a macho environment or because his male friends are so ugly? Well, it's easy to find out. Simply hire a rent boy. Pay him to come to the house when you're not around and see whether he can seduce your son. A first-class piece of man-totty will give you peace of mind for less than $200 an hour, plus GST. And you'll soon know whether the trust fund you set up for future grandchildren is a complete waste of time. And remember, if the red boy does manage to seduce your son, at least you've already met your son's new boyfriend. Bye now.
Although I'll accept that my son or my daughter is gay, but inside of me I wouldn't feel comfortable.
Besides being living shit out of him, wouldn't talk to him.
Such things don't happen. If they happen, it's supposed to be a taboo. It doesn't happen over there. And it'll be shocking for us. If it does, if God forbid it happens, it's shocking for us.
When you look at the person, how can you tell he's gay or not? Can you tell? Of course not.
I don't think I'd be able to tell if the girl is a lesbian, but usually with guys you can tell.
Yeah, you can tell. The way they walk and the way they talk too.
It doesn't matter what my child would decided to be, I have to stand by them and support them.
Even a blind person can see that the majority of people that work in Qantas are gay. Now, you got to ask yourself how that has come about.
How's it? Christmas is just around the corner, and mums and dads everywhere are wondering how to stretch the family budget just to make ends meet. Well, here's a trick from the old country that will save you time, money, and take the hassle out of Christmas. You'll need a piece of horn, maybe a cow's horn, some sheep's horn will do. Ask your local butcher. And you'll need a big bucket of blood. Now just lightly sprinkle the blood on the carpet beneath the nearest window, and then progressively heavier as you approach the chimney. Then just drop your piece of horn and wait for the kids to arrive, bright and bouncy at the crack of dawn. Oh my God! Blood! And a piece of broken antler. Someone's killed Santa. Sorry kids, there'll be no presents this year. Or ever again. Now, I've got to take this to the coroner. So why don't you sit here and think happy thoughts? There's one magical, memorable Christmas for about $1.95. Merry Christmas. How's it? Dr. Rudy here with a little advice for parents who are concerned about the proliferation of internet pornography. It is hard to put a stop to inquiring minds. But we also don't want those minds affected by a lot of the dirty images and nasty filth so readily available on the information superhighway. You could invest in software that screens out most of the pornographic websites, but it's easy for a lot of these to slip through the net. And besides, what about you, the discerning adult? Why should you sacrifice even more of your own pleasures for the sake of your child's development? Well, Dr. Rudy is here to tell you there is an effective way to screen your computer from restricted information. All you need to do is hire an internet bouncer.
Could I have some identification, please? You've got to be over 18 to enter there. Thank you.
Better luck next time, Dimitri. And there you have it, a sound investment. An internet bouncer will keep your child's mind unsullied and your own freedom intact.
Excuse me, sir. Can I have some identification, please?
Certainly.
Thank you, sir.
Most relaxing. Bye now.
I know people that do, and they only do that because basically nothing better to do, and they're very deprived and lonely, and yeah, de-sexed.
Out of curiosity, I went to the site to see what's it like, you know, but no, it doesn't interest me.
Stick to the normal shit. Stay away from dogs, cats, cows, shit like that. All that Italian shit, you don't really want to get into it, you know.
So she sneaked into the room, and she saw her husband, you know, doing something with himself, and watching on the internet, talking to someone, and she could hear the other person's voice. And she had a big argument, and she knew what it was about, and he didn't want to stop it. He was in love with the computer.
How's it? Dr. Rudy here. In this busy age, we all need help organising our lives. So we turn to diaries, filofaxes, laptops. But the problem is, as personal organisers get smaller and smaller, they can be cute, but unreliable. But not if you have the right one, like this one. This is my personal organiser, Bernadette. Everywhere I go, my personal organiser is with me. It holds all the information I need, reminds me of my business appointments and personal arrangements. And it's so sophisticated, you can talk to it, and it actually talks back.
Don't forget you've got a haircut at 4 o'clock.
Thank you, Bernadette. Great, isn't it? And it's reliable. It's only crashed a couple of times, and I've only had to reboot it once.
Come along, Dr. Rudy. We really have to go now.
Yes, all right.
After your haircut, you've got a meeting at 5 o'clock and then an early dinner appointment.
This is Dr. Rudy helping you to get the most out of the little things in life. Bye now. Oh, Willie Bendela, she's a crazy woman. Crazy. Has this ever happened to you? An evening out with friends, fine wine, good conversation, and an extremely pleasant ambiance. Then some canodal cop goes and spoils it all by deciding that everyone would like to hear him sing. A good way to combat such overt displays of self-indulgence is to fight fire with fire. Just drop your strides and start practicing a bit of candid masturbation of your own. A drastic measure to be sure, but definitely effective. Such a display may not only get the message across to all those boring wankers in your midst, it could also be used as a public demonstration against the more common forms of professional onanism.
I said, mate, if you're paying peanuts, you're going to get monkeys. You got the message.
Its minimalism belies the work's complexity, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it's certainly an original exposition of two-dimensional space.
There you have it. Not only pleasurable, healthy, and potentially communal, but also a positive act of ridicule and criticism against all those wankers we have to deal with on a daily basis. And as the old saying goes, if it feels good, do it. Bye now.
It's a beautiful world, so we should be nice to each other. And if somebody's going to become a wanker, he can be a wanker on his own.
See, this guy's like my brother here. I can call him wanker, anything, because we're close to each other, you know? To other people's, we don't want to know, you know?
Oh, man, I met heaps of them around here.
What, literally wankers?
Yeah, no way.
Meet them all the time.
Here's some tea for you, bubble tea. Would you like some milk with that bubble tea?
How's it? Dr. Rudy here again with more timely advice for prudent parents concerning a dangerous condition which can affect children as young as 2.
Do you like a biscuit with that bubble tea?
Imaginary friends. They are the silent partner in a child's life, and if they aren't dealt with at an early age, they can inflict untold damage to that child's future. You see, this can be a very sad genetic blueprint. Basically, Luke here will grow up to be a wino. You see, winos like Ted here are simply unclean, fetid adults that still have imaginary friends. And unfortunately, in most cases, that friendship has soured. And now all they do is fight. Yeah. And the reason for their falling out is very simple. You see, Ted's imaginary friend has made more from his life. He has a good job and lives in an enviable house, is married to a beautiful woman and drives a nice car. And obviously Ted resents this, especially considering it was his imaginary friend who first suggested they go to the pub for a couple of beers. So, how do you protect your child from the influence of their imaginary friend? All you have to do is go out and buy a child-sized coffin. This one looks about Bobbity's size. So the thing to do in the morning is place the coffin on the floor of your child's bedroom. Then when they wake up, simply break the news that their imaginary friend has died during the night. He died. Your child will be so devastated by this news, they will never want to take the chance and dream up a friend again. So protect your child's future today and kill off that imaginary friend tonight. Bye now.